What's up, you guys? Stoopzz back here with another video, and I decided to start a quick little series on my channel. I've been working really hard on this lineage project. I want to bring back some WoW content on my channel. I want to bring back that guide feel. I'm going to make small, digestible videos, 5-6 minute videos where I'll go over some basic tips that you guys can use or implement in your gameplay that might help you as you're trying to climb the arena ladder or progress as a player overall. Now, one of the common complaints I get all the time is that people have poor positioning. They want to improve their positioning. They don't know why they're always in these weird bad spots. They don't know why they're getting global, and a lot of it has to do with positioning. But sometimes people can't tell the difference if it's their movement. Is their movement leading them to have bad positioning? Do they not understand their class really well, so they're still staring at their bars? Do they have poor key bindings, which also results in poor movement, which puts you in bad positions? It's hard to tell what the issue is when it comes to positioning, but I do have a general rule of thumb that you guys can implement, and I'm going to show you in this video. This is something that I used when I first started. Oh, fuck. This DK comes in. Oh, my God. Come on, bro. Kill him. I don't even know where I was. I guess I'll start over. So like I was saying, there's an easy little trick that you guys can use when starting out. Now, obviously, there's going to be exceptions to this rule. However, I do think that this rule or this general, guideline is something that you can implement always when playing as a healer. So in the arena or in PvP in general, the number one rule of thumb is you want to keep max distance, right? Now, you've heard this before. Every healer usually has like a 40-yard range that you can heal from. The farther you are, the easier it is to see when things are coming at you. It's easier for things to be telegraphed. So let's say, for example, this DH, the enemy skull DH is running towards me right now. It's a lot easier for me to see him coming towards me, and then I can tell if he's going to land a kick, an end cap, if they're swapping towards me. So the farther you are, the easier it is to see things coming. And that's why when you're always stuck in the middle over here and you're fighting and you're in a bad spot, you eat so many CCs. You get interrupted, you get swapped on, you get double stunned, you get kicked, you get end capped, you get polyed because you're in the middle and you don't have time to react to anything. If you're standing in the middle of the fight, you're exposing yourself to so many different forms of CC that you wouldn't be if you were at a max range. And also, the farther you are, it's easier for the enemy to put themselves in a bad position. If you're in a lot farther position, then the DH has to run at me, run past my DPS, and he's going to take a ton of damage coming in. He'll also put himself in a really bad spot where he can get swapped on. If he comes back behind the pillar, then I can stun him. Well, the enemy team will have to catch up, and then my team will end up swapping onto him. So that's another thing that you can take advantage of, and that's how you can get easy kills in 3v3s and sometimes in 2v2s. So that's one quick tip. But the other big and important tip is you want to play this game, and I tell this to all my little Patreon supporters, anyone that I've helped in the past when it comes to coaching. An important rule is that you always want to keep this pickle. So let's say, for example, this diamond right here is my ally. The enemy is the skull. I always want to try and keep a spot where the enemy's on the opposite side and I'm on the other opposite side. And then my ally is always in the middle. This way, I'm not exposing myself to any setups. I'm keeping my max distance, and the enemy has to cross over to catch up to me to do anything. So by staying in this position, I can freely heal, and I'm not exposing myself to anything. Now, the way you tell when you're getting into a bad spot is when the roles are reversed. So if the roles start to reverse, immediately you're going to start to see that this is a bad spot. If you keep this rule in mind, it's an easy tip that you can use, because I know you're getting used to playing a healer, you're getting used to your key bindings. Let's say you're a 1400 player, a 1500 player. A lot of things are going on. It's a little overwhelming, but if you keep these little things going on the screen, if you keep these little markers, and the second your marker, your ally marker, gets on the other side of you, on the other side of the enemy, you're in a bad spot. So now I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, Stoopzz, I can't always do this. There's these double DK teams or the Windwalker DK, and they just train me the whole time. I'll get to that part at the end of the video. Now, let's say the roles are reversed, right? The enemy is closer towards me. My ally is on the opposite side. You're not going to run through him and try and just get to the other side of the map, because then again, you're putting yourself in a bad spot. So unless they're swapping to you and they're fighting like this, so let's say they're fighting like this and they're not going to swap to me, but the enemy is closer towards me, then you can probably go to this pillar over here and then slowly make your way to get a new spot. You're not going to immediately get better positioning, but you can work to getting better positioning. Oh, he's fucking back, dude. Kill this son of a bitch. Dude, why are there so many people here, man? I'm just trying to do a video. No, who comes in a grand arena? It's Legion. So again, if the roles are reversed and you need to get better positioning, then try not to cross directly through the battle. Go around it and find yourself a better spot that at least will keep you in a better spot where you're not directly behind the enemy and maybe they're in an even spot. But keeping max distance and trying to always keep your ally in front of you is going to be the best positioning overall. Again, this will help you see things coming. It allows your ally to actually help you, and it's just a simple method that you guys can use when trying to improve your overall positioning. Now, the last thing I want to cover is the case or example of I'm getting trained by double melee. They're not even running after my allies. They're on me the entire time. One of the biggest mistakes that I see healers make all the time when this is happening, this guy's on my nuts. Savannah is just trying to pound. I don't want to say that. They're all over me right now. I can't get away, and my allies are in the dust behind me. They treat the enemy like they're casters, like they're trying to get LOS. Yes, LOS is good for various reasons, like, range stuns like Stormbolt or range interrupts like Kick. But if you're just running away and you run behind the pillar and they chase you behind the pillar, you're not doing anything. Look how easy it was for them to connect. They hop on their Cavalier, they dash over me. They're going to connect no matter what. This is Legion. You're not lining or LOSing or getting away from anything. Everyone plays a Windwalker now. Everyone plays a DK that has grips and slows. Every DPS spec has some form of mobility. So just running away behind a pillar, you're not lining anything. They can still connect. They still have uptime. They're still doing damage. And when you're doing this, you're actually hurting your allies because they can't even help you. If you're playing with casters especially, they can't fear, they can't polymorph, they can't do any range slows. They have to chase after you and run behind the pillar, which exposes them to like group AoE stuns from a Demon Hunter, or it exposes them to leg sweep, Fist of Fury, any AoE stun. You're putting yourself and your allies in a bad position, and they have to try and chase after you and connect. So the most important thing you can do is when you are getting trained, unless you know you can get away, like let's say you're a druid and you have a vortex and you're gonna displace her behind the pillar to start casting heals. Sure, that's a good idea. But if you're just gonna run behind a pillar, you're hurting your allies' ability to even help you in the first place. If you are getting trained, you need to differentiate between needing LOS so you can cast a free heal or just trying to make distance. Because if you're just trying to make distance, make sure you're staying in the line of sight of your allies. If you need an LOS because you don't want to get kicked and you know you can make that distance, then sure, that's a good idea. But a lot of the times when I'm playing at low rated or with my subscribers, they always run away from me and run behind pillars, and I can't do anything to help them, and then they die behind the pillar. Now, I know it's really stressful and you're getting trained on. I'm going to make a separate video discussing the idea of getting comfortable when getting just dumped on by double melee. Get distance, get comfortable with them being on you, try and land some heals when you make distance, but if you stay in their line of sight, they can easily CC off, and then you can get behind a pillar and make distance and regain that pickle formation that we talked about earlier. So when it comes to positioning, it is one of the hardest things to improve on, and like I talked about at the beginning of the video, it could be a result of many things like your movement. But if you just follow these 3 tips, number 1, keeping a large distance behind your allies, number 2, staying behind your allies, keeping that pickle formation, and number 3, don't run behind pillars if it's not going to help you. And I think by implementing these 3 strategies, you guys will have a much easier time with positioning. But that's gonna do this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you have any more questions regarding positioning, you can leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you guys right away. Try to listen to me on my YouTube live stream, answer all of your guys' questions in depth. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.